Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, brothers in arms, World of Warships, and today's video we're going to take a look at a sick game that I had in the Kid, the Tier 8 Premium American Destroyer. I'm playing by myself, and it's some standard battle here on the map Land of Fire. For my captain skills, I have Priority Target, Adrenaline Rush, Expert Marksman, Basic Firing Training, Advanced Firing Training, Superintendent, and Concealment Expert. And for those of you wondering, this is my Des Moines captain, so that's why things like Adrenaline Rush and Expert Marksman are on my captain. And then for my equipment, I have Main Armaments Mod 1, Propulsion Mod 1, AA Guns Mod 2, Steering Gears, and of course, more Concealment. So the Kid here in World of Warships. Well, Spider has already done a review on the ship, and he also did an AA comparison where he was testing out the various builds that you could use for your anti-aircraft firepower. And of course, that's one of the very big things about the USS Kid, is that it not only has very good AA, and it's on a Fletcher platform, so you have a lot of it at that, but you also have access to defensive fire as one of its consumables. So this game you're going to see is a new record for me for most planes shot down in a game in a destroyer. Other things about the Kid. It has a pretty decent hit point that you can work with without Survivability Expert, 16,700. It's a little bit on the low side, as American destroyers generally aren't the biggest in their respective tiers. German and Russian destroyers are generally much bigger, but it does come with a heal, and that's another little gimmick about this ship that makes it very fun, and also makes it extremely difficult to deal with if you're on the enemy team. Speaking of that, you're going to see this poor Liebrecht Moss, that tier 7 German destroyer, come up and try to challenge me here very early on in this game. I'm starting my turn to the right, and there we go. I get the Moss spotted at 6.5 kilometers, so I'm of course easily able to start the engagement, and I'm able to get 2 entire salvos off before he even reacts to what's going on. Make that 3, as a matter of fact. You can see the damage going in is very nice. I do set a fire on the very first salvo. He has to turn away. His return salvo misses completely. I knock out his engine, and then look at this RNG. 2 fires off of another 4 shells that hit, so that guy is going to be burning for quite some time, and I made that trade 8,700 and counting, and I did not take 1 bit of damage. So that was about as good as I finally take 495. That was about as good of a trade as you could expect in a destroyer versus destroyer engagement. I kited away. I was able to make him whiff his first shot, and I was just hitting him over and over and over again. And you can see that the damage counter is still ticking at over 11,000, which is pretty ridiculous. Now, of course, one thing about the Kid, it only has 1 set of torpedoes. You can see you get Benson torps, but you only get 5 of them, and they have a very long reload, even if you spec fully into torpedoes, but there's no reason to do so because you only have 5 to work with. Now, right here, you're going to get a good idea of just how potent this AA is. Again, this is my Des Moines captain, so it has all the trimmings with BFT, AFT, and all that good stuff. And you can see here with the defensive fire activated, I've already shot down half of one of the Ranger squadrons. That's the enemy carrier that I'm going against, so these are tier 7 aircraft that you're witnessing get destroyed. Almost taken out an entire squadron. Make that 2 more, make that 3. You can see the number just continues to climb, and by the time these planes get out of my AA bubble, I have shot down, it's going to be over 10 planes thus far. We're sitting at 11 currently. 1 squadron completely destroyed, another one taken down to only 2 aircraft. So right there, if you're able to cycle your defensive fires very nicely, you can get mini North Carolina levels of AA if you have a full anti-aircraft build. Now again, this is with defensive fire active, and of course it gives you the ×4 bonus instead of the ×3, but you saw right there that, well, that Ranger just can't do anything to me. There's nothing he can do. I don't even believe I took a single point of damage from him. No, I didn't, as all of his bombs fell well off the mark. So that's just what this AA can do for you, and it gives you such an advantage in games where there's enemy carriers that even against tier 9 and 10 aircraft carriers, while you're not going to be shooting down too many planes with it active, at the very least you're still going to give yourself a very long time to be well within that, you know, the Aurora where there bomb drops and torpedo drops are going to be wide. So it's very nice. Other things about the Kid, oh, excuse me, dropped my thing there. It has a very nice smokescreen, of course, because it is an American destroyer, so you can lay very, very large smoke screens for yourself, but more importantly for your teammates. The ship is relatively slow by destroyer standards, and again, that's only because you don't have access to the speed boost consumable since you have defensive fire and the heal. So with the Sierra Mike flag, you're still going to be able to go, you know, 37, 38 knots, but it's something that you can't count on. If you stray in a little bit too close, it can get a little bit hairy. And the reason why I say that is because, again, if a Soviet destroyer closes the distance, if a Japanese destroyer closes the distance, it's going to be difficult to get out of their detection if you are a little bit too close. Now you can see right here I'm getting some more shots, this time at the enemy Lyon, the tier 7 French battleship, and I'm immediately turning him away. My torpedo salvo that I sent quite some time ago was intended for that gap right there, but unfortunately I dropped them a little bit too far forward, and that's why the Lyon did not eat any of them, and I get my 4th fire of the game as I continue to pump more shells downrange. And you can see with this build that I do have, the reload is at a flat 3 seconds, which is very quick for a tier 8 destroyer. So you can see just the amount of potential DPM that I'm tossing out there. As long as I manage to hit in the superstructure and parts of the ship where I'm able to do a lot of damage with these shells, then it will stack up quite nicely. Now, of course, the fire chance on American destroyers, specifically these 127mm guns, is rather lackluster, but because you have so many shells going downrange, you can actually get a pretty decent amount of fires. You see, I already have another fire on the Lyon right there, right on the midsection, and even though I'm out in the open and I am detected, I'm just going to keep shooting at this guy, because while he does have 16 guns at the moment, he can only get 8 of them on target to me because he's in a turn. And yeah, there's no reason for me to not continue to shoot at this guy, and I'm doing some decent damage. There we go, 1300 on that salvo. Shoot down another plane right there to make that number 12 so far in the game. And at this point, I got my next defensive fire ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is you can see that the enemy team has kind of stacked up in C6, C7, that area. What I'm going to do is now go over towards the middle of the map, and I'm going to try to get a central position, because all these enemy ships are now looking like they're about ready to make a push towards the west. So I'm going to go counter that and try to put myself right in the middle where I can do a lot of damage. Now you can see here my next defensive fire is popped against those enemy fighter planes. I've shot down a total of 2 so far, and you can immediately, he has to run away. There's no reason for him to keep his planes in there. He immediately has to run away, and I managed to shoot down, it looks like 4 of his 7 fighter planes. So, using the defensive fire on just 1 squadron, maybe it was a little bit of a waste, but I still was able to push it away. So now I can safely move into the middle part of the map without being detected once my gun bloom goes away. You can see the Richelieu does shoot at somebody else, so that's why, once again, as the target indicator goes up to 5, I'm now going to continue to move here, and I'm getting ready for my next smoke screen. I got 34 seconds left, so I do have to wait this one out a little bit, but because I have the heal, I feel comfortable opening up at this Pensacola. He's only 6.5 kilometers away, and you can see that the American shells, the armor-piercing shells for that matter, going in, do a lot of damage on a broadside, and that Pensacola cannot afford to stay broadside as I get another fire on that guy. And there we go. I am taking a little bit of damage. I do use my first heal of the game now, and now finally with my my smoke ready to go, I immediately pop it here. Looking for the kill shot here on the Pensacola. He's down to 4,000 hit points. He's at 5.8 kilometers, and there we go. I do manage to get a cheeky Citadel, and then the next salvo that goes in manages my first kill of the game on that tier 7 American heavy cruiser. I'm up to 46,000 points of damage and 16 planes thus far, and now I'm getting some more shots downrange at the Galissonière, and just switching targets to whatever is spotted, whatever is closest, whatever is providing me the best broadside. I do switch back to the armor-piercing shot against that tier 6 French light cruiser, and you can immediately see 1,460 damage. Anytime you're doing over 1,000 damage with the AP consistently in a destroyer, especially one that has this rate of fire, that is some very good armor-piercing stuff. And now I'm going to launch my next torpedo salvo, hopefully trying to hit either the Richelieu or the Galissonière, so we'll see. Some dual-purpose torpedoes, as Flamu likes to say, when there's multiple targets for them to potentially run into. And now I'm just going to keep on shooting at the target that is lit up. The Richelieu is now the focus. I'm trying to get a fire on this guy, so maybe if he does move forward, he will run into my torpedoes while his repair is on cooldown. I'm also angled away so that those Galissonière torpedoes really didn't have much of a chance of hitting me. Unfortunately, I do not manage to get the kill, but my buddy in the Richelieu burns him down, and now, of course, I'm switching back to this French battleship. And you can see, unfortunately, I probably should have waited just a little bit longer to drop my torpedoes, but there we go. I get fire number 9 so far in this game. My RNG has been pretty incredible, to be honest with you. You can see some dive bombers are coming in on my buddy in the Richelieu, so I'm immediately going to pop my defensive fire and switch my focus to them, and you can already see that I've started to shoot down some of those attack planes. And again, look at get the armor-piercing usage right into the broadside of this French battleship. We're going to go to the cinematic view right here, and it's just wonderful. It's music to my ears to listen. Well, maybe not running into my buddy. Ugh, that sounded a bit rough, but just listening to these guns sing. Got a full broadside target at less than 6-7 kilometers. You can just do some very nice damage with these guns. I'm up to 21 planes shot down as I pick up my second kill of the game, and I'm up to about 80,000 points of damage. So being able to get into this central position has actually worked out very, very nicely. Gotten a couple kills, gotten a lot of good damage on other enemy ships, and of course shot down a lot of planes. And I still have a nice heal coming up, too. I still have 9,300 hit points, which is a decent bit to work with, but you can see I'm going to be able to get back over 3,000 more of that, which is really, really nice. Now, it appears this York is charging. However, one thing my buddy did that he ran into me in the destroyer is he set his own smoke screen. So you can see I still have 51 seconds left until this smoke screen runs out. And because my buddy set his, I'm going to be able to kill this York from complete stealth. Trying to get this kill secured here. I do pick up the Confederate, which is very nice. I do set a fire number 10 on the front, but then my next salvo goes in, and I take care of that tier 7 German heavy cruiser. And so far, so good. We're up 662 to 217. It is looking very, very nicely right now. But unfortunately, my buddy in the Richelieu in front of me is going to kick the bucket here. I'm also going to get some more shots downrange at the turrets. I'll be honest, I'm feeling a bit confident right now. That's why I have no qualms about shooting out in the open. And again, I still got 2 more heals to work with. So even if I do take a bit of damage, I'm still going to be able to get a bit of that hit points back. Unfortunately for my team, 2 ships go down in quick succession. So it brings the score back, at least for the enemy team, to a much more manageable 562 to 302. But you know what? This enemy Leon is about to kick the bucket as well. He's on 6,600 hit points, and he did use his damage control, so I am trying to get another fire set on this guy. And with the fire RNG that I've been having, I mean, do you blame me? Not at all. So, one high explosive shell does hit me, does a little bit over 1,000 damage. You can see, unfortunately, the British battleships have... why is he shooting HE? Why? Just because British HE is so ridiculously OP on their battleships doesn't mean you should be shooting it in any other nation's battleship, but hey, what do I know? But yep, you can see the Leon is using his heal, so I'm still shooting at this guy. The enemy Gneisenau does take care of my buddy in the Nagato, and there we go. I finally get the cheeky fire number 12 that I need. And now at this point, as I got a little bit too close to the island, I am going to have to come to a stop, but I'm still able to shoot over the corner. At least the rear turrets are able to do so. You can see some more dive bombers are coming in on the Algerie, so I pop my next defensive AA, and I think that I might have done this a little bit too early. I do eat a few over penetrations from the turrets, but fortunately for me, I don't take any penetrations, which is very nice. You can see I've shot down a few more planes as well, but I still got another heal coming up, so I'm going to be able to pretty much repair all the damage that I just took. Shot down 4 more enemy planes and forced those dive bombers away, which is very nice. So they're going to come in and attack whoever next with a lot less planes, and it appears that he is now going to go over and try to take care of the turrets. The Leon does kick the bucket as well, so at this point I figure why not go try and find that enemy aircraft carrier. So I'm completing my turn here after the Gneisenau goes out in front of me, and then I'm going to go try to find the enemy Ranger. And I'll be honest with you guys, he's actually done a pretty good job so far in this game, because we all know the Ranger is, you know, definitely not the best tier 7 carrier by any means. It's actually one of the weakest carriers in the game, tier for tier. It's just very difficult to play, and even when you do get it fully upgraded, ships like the Hiryu, the Saipan, the Kaga are just much better. So it's a very difficult ship to play, but I think he's done pretty admirably so far. And I actually forgot, guys, I do engage this turrets right here before I try to go hunt down the enemy carrier. I do manage to get another fire set on the midsection of him, make that 2, which is pretty ridiculous. We got to take care of this guy before the sea lanes are cleared enough for me to go try and hunt down that Ranger. And you can see here, on German battleships specifically, if you do manage to land a lot of your high explosive salvo right into the midsection, you can see the very consistent damage that you're able to do. Anywhere from 500 to 2,000 if you manage to land all of the shells right in that sweet spot. And once again, we're going to go to the cinematic right here, and more music to my ears. These guns, while they do have the extremely slow shell velocity and they're very difficult to hit things that aren't battleship sized at range, I've just played enough American destroyers that I feel really comfortable hitting targets at, 10 kilometers even, because the gun performance is it's an acquired taste. Noobs will struggle, don't get me wrong, but the more you play American DDs, the more that you will fall in love with them because they're just so nice to play. Unfortunately, I don't have another defensive fire to work with because I think I might have used a couple of them a little bit too early. So I'm going to have to go chase down this ranger, and he does see me. I am detected. I am leaving my anti-aircraft guns going to try and help out the friendly Niza now. So going against this ranger, I know that he's going to have some planes that will be rearmed and ready to go by the time that I reach his position. You can see his last reported is up at Charlie 3, so I am going to have to take a little bit of a trek to get there. Excuse me. But that's okay. I still got 9,200 hit points, so I can afford to eat one torpedo along the midsection, and I will be able to survive that, which is very important information. If I only had like 5,000 hit points, this would be a much more risky adventure, but I feel pretty comfortable going in and trying to see if I can get a little bit more damage. I'm already up to, if you've lost track, 141,000 points of damage. Obviously, the fire RNG has been fantastic, but in a destroyer without hitting a single torpedo, that kind of damage is, quite frankly, pretty ridiculous. Now, you can see it'd be lovely to have another set of defensive fire ready to go. So unfortunately, I'm going to get hit by probably almost 2 full squadrons of torpedo bombers. So what I got to do is try to stay perpendicular to their course. That's very important. Unfortunately, though, I am not going to be able to do that. But one of the dive bomber squadrons isn't going to, and yeah, that RNG right there was that was pretty ridiculous, if I might say so. Yeah. I didn't get hit by a single bomb, and I didn't even have defensive fire to try to mitigate the effects, so I guess I didn't need it, right? I do manage to shoot down 3 more planes to take my count up to 29 as his dive bombers are going back to the carrier, but I am still going to have to try and survive one more strike that will inevitably come. Chasing after the ranger now. I do have him within visual range. He's at 11.6 kilometers. He doesn't have any concealment, or excuse me, any camo for better concealment. So at this point, I'm going to be able to chase him down. Now, I am only able to use the 2 front guns at the moment, but I am going to turn here right now to try to get the rear turrets into play. And I still got to put myself on a course where I'm able to chase him down, but also try to use all of the guns. Now, the first 3 turrets do have excellent firing angles, whereas the 2 rear ones only have pretty good firing angles. But now I'm in a situation where I'm still able to close the distance. It'd be very nice if I had a speed boost to work with right now, but I'm still closing the distance and able to shoot all of my guns down range. And so, yeah. Just trying to do some damage. You can see quite a few of the shells are breaking off of the deck of the Ranger. Unfortunately, this carrier does have enough deck armor on the flight deck to bounce, or excuse me, not to bounce, to shatter most of the shells that are going in on him. So I got to try to find the bow, the stern, or the superstructure, but it's very difficult to do so. But I'm going to keep shooting at him anyway, because if I do manage to put a fire on him, that will be very nice. The next dive bomber that came in, there was only one of them that managed to make it through, and I did shoot him down to take my plane count to 31. But at this point, you can see some torpedo planes. An entire squadron is coming at me, so I am going to have to divert my attention here to those torpedo planes. Now, a little bit of a lesson and a very good tactic to do here. You can see the torpedo planes are now going off to my port side, so instead of turning into them by turning, keeping my turn to the left, I'm now going to turn back to the right. So at this point, he's actually put himself in a rather poor angle of attack, and right as he drops his torpedoes, I have no issues dodging that salvo right there. I'm just going to keep my turn a little bit more to starboard so I can get out of the way of the very last torpedo on the edge right there, and then on this course, I'm going to easily be able to dodge these. So yeah, if you're in a ship, if you're in a destroyer specifically that has the great rudder shift times like Americans do, if a torpedo squadron is going to your port or starboard side, start to turn into it, you know, like an idiot, and then immediately kind of do an S, do a figure 8 or an S maneuver, and then immediately turn back the way that you were coming from. And it actually, like I said, it puts those torpedo planes on it'll put them on the rear of your ship, and it makes it a lot easier to be able to dodge them from that case. And that example right there is exactly what I'm trying to articulate here. But anyway, getting some more shots here at the Ranger. He has not provided enough broadside, managing that I can actually hit the shells. Quite a few salvos just short. Then now if I hit the side of the ship, there we go. I'm getting some penetrations. Will I be able to secure the Kraken? He's at 1,960 hit points. I put him down to 772. And then my buddy in the Algerie finishes the game off here on New Dawn. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at the post-battle results. 1.6 million credits received, 5,900 total experience earned. I picked up Confederate and High Caliber, dealing 157,000 points of damage off of 507 shell hits. I shot down a new personal best, 33 enemy aircraft, sank 4 ships, had 15 fires set, and I managed 1 Citadel on the Pensacola. Taking a look at the team score, 2,523 base experience. I was honestly thinking it might be a little higher than that, but of course, since this wasn't domination, I don't have the benefit of being able to get those caps, and if it was, I most likely would have been able to get C and B during the course of the game, but still a very impressive performance. I more than doubled my buddy in the Algerie, who finished in 2nd place, but this was a very good win, a very hard-fought win, and also the Ranger, Donald Duck for president. I gotta say, very nice job, man, finishing at the top of your team with over 1,000 base experience in a carrier, especially something like the Ranger, it's difficult to do on the losing team because, well, we all know the carrier economy and experience is rather poor anyway, and losing you don't get very much, but a very nice performance by you, sir. So if you do manage to watch this video, very nice job. We're also going to take a look at the detailed report really quickly. 83,000 damage dealt with the high explosive, 19,000 damage dealt with the AP, and 53,000 damage dealt with the fires. Yes, I know, RNG was really hooking me up right there, but hey, I took advantage of it. And then the last thing to note, damage taken 17,618. That is more than the 16,700 that this ship has without Survivability Expert. So if I didn't have the heals, I would have kicked the bucket. But because you do, you can get into a lot more sticky situations and you'll be A-okay. And then lastly, just because I had so many credits, I was going with full credit flags. I have the Wyvern. I had... I can't think of the other one. It's the other special one. Please tell me if you know it. But with the spent taking me down 148,000, I still made 1.46 million, which is very good stuff. So with that being said, this is the Sneaky Snake for Brothers in Arms World of Warships signing off. Guys and gals, please consider giving the video a like, commenting on it, or possibly subscribing to the channel. All of it is very much appreciated, and have a great day.